Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going over an article by CNBC where they interviewed ESPN host Stephen A. Smith, and he gave some very interesting comments about a possible 2028 run for president as a Democrat. And I'm going to be just reading the article through here, then I'll give my own thoughts after. Outspoken ESPN personality Stephen A. Smith is not ruling out a presidential run in his future. In an interview with CNBC Sport, Smith said, quote, "I wouldn't mind being in office." Yet the popular television host said it's the campaigning and being a politician that turns him off. He said, "I'm not one of those dudes that's great at shaking hands and kissing babies, per se, and currying favor with politicians and donors. I'm not a beggar. That's not who I am," Smith told CNBC Sport. However, the 57-year-old Bronx native said he believes he could bypass the campaigning. He would excel on television in a presidential debate. If you tell me that I would catapult to the White House and I could be in a position to affect millions upon millions of lives, not just in America, but the world over, yeah, that's something I would entertain, he said. The First Take host said that he voted for Democratic nominee Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election, telling Bill Maher he feels like, quote, "a damn fool" for now doing so. In a recent poll by McLaughlin and Associates, 2% of voters said they would vote for Smith in the 2028 presidential election. And I do a video coming out in the next few days where I go more in depth on that poll. So I want to do an interesting video or a video on this because I won't lie, the second I read this, I kind of thought it was a joke, but it is very interesting. On Wikipedia's official page, the first Democratic candidate that has publicly expressed interest for the 2028 Democratic primary is Stephen A. Smith. And, you know, there's a lot of things to be said here, but this is something that I just could not pass up because the conversation around it is highly entertaining. Stephen A. Smith, of course, if you're familiar with him, is most known for his talk show First Take, where he would talk about sports and often either have great reactions or go over the top with explaining things in the back and forth with his co-hosts. Does that fit in a 2028 presidential primary? I mean, honestly, kinda. After what we saw in 2016 and 2020, Stephen A. Smith running in 2028, nothing really surprises me anymore about campaigns, but this would be something that's very entertaining. I'm not sure if Stephen A. Smith would be able to actually get traction in running, because, look, I know after the 2024 election, the Democratic Party is in an interesting place where they really don't have a clear person that's next up to run for 2028. So much so that right now in all the polls, the leading candidate to be the 2028 Democratic nominee is Vice President Kamala Harris, who just lost to Donald Trump. She's the person that the Democrats seem to be saying would be the person next up to run again. So the Democrats, and there's a lot of undecided vote. So right now the Democrats are kind of in the same place the Republicans were for 2016, where they had no clue what the next direction, the next person was going to be for the next presidential election. Stephen A. Smith, at very least, announcing this is a very entertaining idea and very entertaining question. I have no idea if Stephen A. Smith is actually going to run. It sounds like 1 minute he's interested, 1 minute he's not. As he mentioned in the article, he doesn't want to do the campaigning part of it, which is a huge part of running for a party's nomination. But at very least, this would get people talking about the Democratic primary in 2028. It would certainly be something that's very entertaining. In my personal opinion, I don't know if he's actually going to run. I don't think he has much of a chance at winning if he did decide to run the primary or the general election. But it is worth noting he is starting out at about 2% in the Democratic primary, and the Democrats did much worse in 2024 with younger voters, Gen Z, and millennials in 2024 than they did in 2020. Maybe Stephen A. Smith could get some of those voters back to the Democratic Party and away from the Republican Party. It's certainly a conversation to be made here. I don't know how much stock I put into this. I'm not sure if this is a actual serious things he's doing or if it's a stunt or if he's actually seriously considering it. But, this is a very entertaining conversation. We have, of course, like 3 to 4 years before the next presidential election, probably 2 years before conversations about who's running really start ramping up. But this is not news I expected to hear, but it's definitely something I'm very entertained by. And I will be having an election prediction on Stephen A. Smith in the next few days coming up, so make sure you watch that as well. But I wanted to do a video on this because this is something that, in the world of politics, you never know what's going to happen, and this is something I definitely did not expect to happen, but it's a very interesting conversation, and this is what I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are. Do you think if Stephen A. Smith ran for president, would he actually be able to get any support in the primaries, or do you think this is just all a total joke? I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. Could this be the Democrats' answer for their own Donald Trump, their own outspoken outsider? Could Stephen A. Smith be that? Or do you think this is all essentially just a farce? Please leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give the video a like, and remember to click subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like, and if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button, and make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day. So I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.